Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Learn with me. I'm Deborah Hanson, and today we're going to be looking at AP Psychology 4.4 Psychodynamic and Humanistic Theories of Personality. So, today we're going to look at the key terms that are related to this section of Unit 4. So, we're going to look at definitions and an example, and this is to help you make your flashcards or however you decide you're going to keep track of these key terms for all 5 units. It is super important that you memorize these. You have to know them because you have to be able to apply them on test day in your MCQs, your FRQs. And if you don't know them, you can't apply them, right? So it's really important to know them. So however you decide that is best. I personally like flashcards just because you can hold them. I like the ones with the little coils around them so that you can keep them in Unit 1, Unit 2, Unit 3, all of them separate, and you know what you need to study. So that is really important. So on a separate video, you will get the information from the CED question and the essential knowledge you need to know also. But that's on separate videos because it just makes the videos too long if I do them together. So today we're going to look at the key terms only, and it is the key to the 5, no pun intended, okay? And before we get started, I just want to say thank you to everybody who subscribed to the channel. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And so if you do at the end, if you really like it, hit that like button for me. Also, if you have any questions, please put them in the comments below. I promise I will answer you. Okay, so let's get started. So there's a lot of key terms for 4.4. We're going to go through each one. We're going to look at the definition and an example. So we're going to start with psychodynamic theory. The definition is a theory of personality that emphasizes unconscious processes and early childhood experiences. So for example, Freud's belief that unresolved childhood conflicts shape adult behavior. I'm just going to give you a little tip here. Pretty much whenever you see psychodynamic or the word like that, it is Freud. Unconscious processes, thoughts, feelings, and memories that are not consciously accessible but influence behavior. An example, a person's fear of intimacy rooted in forgotten childhood experiences. Sigmund Freud, the founder of psychodynamic theory, who proposed the concept of the id, ego, and superego and defense mechanisms. We're going to go into those as well. So an example, Freud's idea that dreams reveal unconscious desires. Id, the part of the mind focused on immediate gratification and driven by instincts. For example, wanting to eat an entire cake without thinking of the consequences. Now, who doesn't want to do that? Ego, the part of the mind that balances the id's desires and the superego's moral expectations. So, for example, eating one slice of cake to satisfy a craving while staying healthy. The superego, the moral part of the mind that upholds societal rules and values. For example, feeling guilty about lying to a friend. Denial, refusing to acknowledge reality to protect oneself from anxiety. Ignoring signs of a serious illness is an example. Displacement, the definition is redirecting emotions to a safer target. For example, yelling at your siblings after being scolded by your teacher. Projection, attributing one's own thoughts or feelings to someone else. For example, accusing a friend of being angry when you are upset. Rationalization, this is justifying behaviors with logical but false reasons. For example, saying you failed a test because the questions were unfair, not because you didn't study. Reaction formation, the definition is acting in a way opposite to one's true feelings. For example, being overly kind to someone you dislike. Regression, the definition is reverting to childlike behaviors when under stress. For example, throwing a tantrum when things don't go your way. Repression, the definition is pushing painful memories or thoughts out of your conscious awareness. Example, forgetting a traumatic childhood event. Sublimation, the definition is redirecting unacceptable impulses into socially acceptable activities. For example, channeling your angers into playing sports. Projective tests. These are personality tests designed to reveal unconscious thoughts and feelings. For example, interpreting ink blocks in the Rorschach test. The Rorschach Inkblot test, a projective test where individuals describe what they see in inkblots to uncover unconscious thoughts. For example, seeing a butterfly in an inkblot might reveal creativity. Thematic Apperception test, the TAT. So, a projective test where individuals create stories about ambiguous pictures to reveal their personality traits. For example, describing a picture of a man at a desk might reflect personal stress about work. Ego defense mechanisms, unconscious strategies to protect the ego from anxiety. For example, repression, displacement, and denial. Humanistic theory, A theory of personality that emphasizes free will, personal growth, and achieving one's full potential. For example, believing everyone can grow and improve with support. Unconditional positive regard. Accepting someone completely without judgment, for example, a therapist supporting a client regardless of their past mistakes. Self-actualizing tendency. The definition is the drive to achieve one's highest potential and personal growth. For example, pursuing a dream career despite the obstacles. Person-centered approach. The definition is a therapeutic method focusing on empathy, genuineness, and unconditional positive regard to help individuals grow. For example, a therapist listening without judgment to a client's concerns. Carl Rogers. This is a person, obviously, so the definition. He was a humanistic psychologist who developed the person-centered approach and emphasized self-concept and unconditional positive regard. For example, Rogers believed that empathy is the key to personal growth. Self-concept. The definition is how individuals perceive themselves, including their real self and ideal self. For example, feeling fulfilled when your actions align with your personal values. Okay, so now let's just go through the list because there's a lot of them. So make sure you have all of these in your cards, make sure they're in your notes. And you can do is you can also pause the video and see if you actually remember what the definition is. Psychodynamic theory, unconscious processes, Sigmund Freud, id, ego, superego, denial, displacement, projection, rationalization, reaction formation, regression, repression, sublimation, projective tests, Rorschach Inkblot test, Thematic Apperception test, ego defense mechanisms, humanistic theory, unconditional positive regard, self-actualizing tendency, person-centered approach, Carl Rogers, self-concept. Okay, so those are the key terms for 4.4. Hope you found that helpful. Make sure you write those down. Again, like I said, it is the key to the 5. So hopefully you found it helpful. Thank you for listening. See you next time.